Hello and welcome to day 21 of Flash Briefing February. Today we are going to be diving into your Flash Briefing developer account and everything that you are going to need to submit and do before your Flash Briefing can be certified and people can start to listen to it via their Alexa device. Who are we? We are Suze Cooper and Peter Stewart. We are two professional broadcasters. I work in radio, commercial radio here in Kent, as well as working for the London Evening Standard and also for Vixen Labs, where we create skills for brands and businesses around the world. And Peter, introduce yourself.
I work for a big British broadcasting company. I have done for the last 20 years. And also written several books and done presentations and lectures and so on audio and visual content creation, presentation and production. So we kind of hopefully know what we're talking about. And together with podcasts and flash briefings, I was calculating, Suze, the other day that I must have done getting on for nearly 2,000 bits of audio in my own time. And that's work aside. So hopefully we kind of have got the skill set, the mindset and the marketing ideas to pass on to you so you can build a better briefing. So we've talked you through so far about the content, about the presentation. And we also talked yesterday about the podcast host, so where actually you're going to have the audio stored. So when somebody asks to hear your flash briefing, Alexa can scurry away and can go and find that and play it to them. But you've got to be able to set up your Alexa developer account, so she knows the address where to go, and also she knows other things that she's going to be saying. So let's lead you through some of those stages. Now, you only have to essentially do this once. There's a bit of a caveat to that. We'll come to that in a few moments' time. And it's quite a simple layout, but it's awkward. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. There are some bits and you think, what do they mean by this? And there's also a couple of little bits towards the end that actually you don't need to do at all. And it does go through. Leave yourself plenty of time to do it. And you will need some audio and you will need your logo before you start. Okay, so this isn't the first part of the process, as you might expect, setting up your account, and then you put some audio in a couple of days later when you've recorded it. You've kind of got to do it the other way around. Get your audio, get your logo, and then set up your developer account and put everything in. And then, certainly when Suze and I were starting our flash briefings and set up our developer accounts, sometimes it only took 3 or 4 hours for the audio and for your service, for your flash briefing to get approved. Now, it may be a little bit longer than that as more and more people come on to do flash briefings. So it could take a few days. So if you want something launched on a certain day, make sure you're doing it well in advance. Now, the bit of audio that you upload doesn't necessarily have to be the very, very best content-wise. It doesn't necessarily have to be your launch flash briefing, but it has to be of a good quality, audio level wise, because they're going to check that out as well. And it's got to be something there. Okay, so you can take that out of the mix a little bit later on if you want to. It can just be holding audio if you want to. So there you go. I'm going to start off by saying it's a simple layout. It's a bit awkward, and you've got to have everything lined up, ready to go as soon as you dive in. Okay, Suze, take it from here. What are your top tips?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit like a Google form. If you've ever kind of seen one of those, it is kind of pre-templated and you sort of fill in the gaps a little bit. And yeah, the whole kind of process, what's it all about? Well, it's there for Alexa to kind of, for the people at Amazon, to kind of test out the content of your briefing, as Peter says, the levels of your briefing, and to make sure that kind of the subject and the content that you're going to be putting out there via their platform is something that they're happy with. So this is where it's being kind of certified, and that's what it's called, certification. At the end of the process, once you've set this up, this is what you're looking for. You're waiting for an email back from them that basically says, yep, go ahead, you're certified, you're ready to go. Now, one of the things, aside from kind of your own created audio that you're going to need to be thinking about, are some of the things that Alexa might actually have to say on your behalf as part of your flash briefing. Now, that includes the preamble. This is kind of the sentence, the few words that sort of introduces your briefing before it starts. So in my case, it says from Big Tent Media. And those are just words that I've put in. It then turns text to speech, and Alexa reads that out before my briefing goes out. The other thing is an error message, isn't it, Peter? So the error message is basically what happens if something's gone wrong technically. So you need to make sure that that message lets people know that there's been a problem and that you'll be back soon. In fact, I think I kind of had a little bit of a joke with mine. I think mine might say, we've gone to have a cup of tea, but we'll be back soon. Apologies. Listen in again tomorrow. So you need to make sure that you fill something into that error message just in case it does all go slightly wrong, and people can then still hear a message and know that your briefing is still running. It's just that it's a technical issue. Peter, what else? What are the other kind of little bits and bobs that people are going to need to really think about? Uploading a logo, perhaps.
Absolutely. So there are some quirks. So you need to think of those two things that Alexa is going to be saying on your behalf. We talked about logos a little bit earlier on in the course. If you've forgotten what that was about, then go back and perhaps I can suggest watching that video again. So you will need to have a couple of different sizes of your logo to upload, because it's going to be used in a couple of different places, both on the screen or on somebody's phone, and also in the actual skill store when people are searching for your logo. So there are a couple of websites. If you search for logo resizing, then you'll be able to do that. You don't want to change the quality of the logo, the actual pixelation. You just want to change the size of it. You're not cropping it, you're just making it smaller or bigger. If you upload something that doesn't fit their requirements, it just won't accept it. So you know that you're not kind of wasting your time and get all to the end, and then you have to kind of go back to that particular page. So you'll know immediately. Also, you need to put down the frequency, how often you're going to be doing your flash briefing. It doesn't hold you to it. So essentially, you could do it daily, you could do it weekly, or you could do it hourly. At least those are the boxes that you've got to tick, one of those three options. But if you tick weekly and you actually end up doing it daily, it doesn't matter. If you tick daily and you end up doing it hourly, well, frankly, good on for you. But you might do that if you're actually, say, a broadcast news provider. If you're attached to a radio station, you could be doing that as well. And also, do bear in mind that you will have to, as I say, probably put aside about half an hour or so to do this. If you've got any problems while you're doing it, our names are at the bottom. We're contactable on Twitter. So do get back to us and we can help lead you through if there's a problem with one of the boxes, or if it keeps turning you down and you're not entirely sure why. So it's quite straightforward, little bit awkward. And then you go right to the end and you test a few things, and then you press the button and off it goes for certification. And then you've got to sit back and wait.
Indeed. And of course, what we haven't mentioned is that this is the place where you are copying and pasting that URL from the podcasting host that you have set up as per our episode yesterday. You copy and paste your URL from there, and there is a box where you literally paste it in. It wants the URL. It needs to be directed to where this audio is being kept, and that will be on your podcast host. This is how it links the two. So your developer account is actually where you get your podcast host speaking to Amazon, and is how the audio then kind of gets fed out. And it can be fed out all around the world, which is something I know Peter knows something about.
Absolutely. So just one more thing before we go. Wait for the certification for your first flash briefing. First of all, because you will have decided, you will have chosen which country, which territory it's going to be going out with, or going out to, I should say. And when you get certification from the Amazon folks that, yeah, that's okay, then what you can do is you can copy and paste everything you've put into the boxes, pop that in a Word document or something, tuck that away, okay, and then go back to your Amazon developer account, choose another territory, could be Canada, could be the US, could be Australia, wherever, and then you can go back in and do exactly the same. So copy and paste everything that you put in your first territory and put it in the boxes for the second, and then have that certified, and then go, and it's going to go through, and then you can go back and choose another territory, do it the same, and then you can carry on for various different countries. So you've got the same stuff always going out around the world. Okay, so you've got one flash briefing series, but it's going out to people listening in different territories, in different countries around the world. So hopefully that's given you some good advice to help you get going, setting up your Amazon developer account.
That's right. So we'll be back tomorrow with more on Flash Briefing February. Remember to go over to voiceworks.info and sign up for our weekly newsletter over there as well. We'll see you tomorrow.